your stock. The stock that you want to know about. If you acquired the stock, tell us the level that you bought it at and how long you'd like to hold it for. The first question I'm taking today is from Kiruba, and Kiruba is asking about Indecent Bank holding at 25% profit and got a long-term view. Mr. Chokalingam, on this particular stock, would you suggest booking profit and moving to a larger bank, or do you think that the prospects for Indecent Bank are intact?
Long term look good, sir. Looks very good for Indecent Bank, there is no doubt. But I am still very negative on the market for 1 to 2 months. I believe the FII selling would continue, the oil price is unlikely to fall, and the yield will again go up. So that would be negative for Indecent Bank. So if he is sitting on such a good profit, it is better to book profit and sit on cash.
All right, this next query is also for you, Mr. Chokalingam, and this one is coming from Suraj. I believe it's coming from Suraj, Shiva Bharat. And Shiva Bharat wants a view on Ambika Cotton for the next 1 to 2 years for fresh entry. He's saying that he thinks it's in a good PE range and has corrected more than 50%, and the company is reporting good earnings as well. So for a period of 1 to 2 years, do you think that Ambika Cotton makes a good investment, especially if you have to enter right now?
Certainly, it's a great company in terms of management quality, balance sheet quality, even the valuation. But right now, in the short term, there's a lot of problem in procuring the cotton at a lower price. And there is a media report that spinners are working at a 60% capacity utilization. So therefore, I would suggest that for long term, you can start buying, but it's better to phase out for next 2 months. In a small stages, you can start accumulating over the next 2 months.
We've got a question coming from Anthony, and he says everyone speaks about Bajaj twins. What's the view on the parent Bajaj Holdings? This is an interesting question. I think he's a long-term holder, and he has it at at 3-digit levels. This one's for you, Mr. Chokalingam. What's the view here? Holding company of the Bajaj twins.
Normally, in my experience, what I observed is that when the market enters a bear phase or very severe correction mode, unfortunately, the holding companies do not improve in the valuation discount. There are many holding companies having even 80% discount to value of investments. So therefore, there's nothing wrong in booking profits and sitting on cash. Still, he wants to invest. He can shift to Bajaj Finance from holding because in this market, Bajaj Finance can do certainly much better than the holding company.
Okay, this one is coming from Vishal, and this one also is a long-term query. So I think Kunal, you'll need to wait for a bit more longer. Vishal wants to know about Relaxo Footwear. He's saying, is it a good time to enter, or should he wait for further correction? And he wants a view on this particular company for the longer term. What's your take, Mr. Chokalingam? Do you track Relaxo Footwear? Do you think that it's a good bet in the footwear space? And for the longer term, makes sense to Vishal actually enter right now, or should he wait?
He can wait because some of the leather companies use even synthetic rubber, and to that extent they would be impacted. So he can wait for June results, and then he can start entering this Relaxo Footwear.
I'm going to take a shorter term question, though there are, I must mention, quite a few long term queries that are pending. I'm coming to you, Kunal, on Lupin, and we've got this question coming in from Rajesh Kakkad, and he's holding at a price of 910. This is part of his portfolio. He's asking if this is a good price point to average this counter.
Not to average at current levels. In fact, the stock has been one of the few disappointing stocks from the entire pharma pack over the last 2-3 years. There's been no major rally which has come into the stock price, and with any kind of a bounce, we've actually seen the stock getting into a reversal mode. Earlier the resistance was 900, then it fell lower, and the resistance have gone lower to almost 800, now 700 is a crucial resistance for Lupin. So I think till the time the stock keeps on making this lower resistances, it's going to be difficult to try and preempt any kind of a reversal for Lupin. So I would suggest an avoid at current levels.
Okay, this one is coming in from Suraj Kumar, and he's holding Piramal Enterprises at a level of 2,500 rupees per share. He wants to know whether he should average out this stock or switch to another counter for the medium term. And if you are advising that he should switch, Kunal, he wants to know which stock should he look at. It's like a tongue twister for me right now, Kunal.
So I would suggest, if you're looking out for some other stock other than Piramal Enterprise, I would probably look at maybe Chola Finance as a slightly better alternative. The stock has been one of the few, very strong performing names over the last 2 years and 3 years. So purely as a relative alternative, I would prefer Chola Finance.
This next question is coming in from Tina. She's writing in from Delhi and she's asking about Varun Beverages. She's asking if this is a good counter to buy at the current price, at today's price, and to hold as part of your portfolio. Kunal, what's the view?
Yeah, I think VBL Varun Beverages is a good buy. The stock has done reasonably well in the last few months. The only concern is with the timing of the buy. So the charts are attractive, but it's that the prices are a bit stretched on the upside. So if you can either wait for a correction, that would be good. Let the stock come back and settle to the 730, 740 mark. That could be a good price where you can look to enter. Or if you're looking to buy right now, I would suggest maybe do 30%, 40% of your expected quantity which you're looking to buy at current levels, and then wait for, assuming if the stock corrects, say, over the next few weeks and comes closer to the 730, 40 mark, that could be a good point where you can look to average further.
Okay, this one is for you, Mr. Chokalingam, and this one is from Natarajan Ramesh, and he wants a fundamental view on IG Petrochem, and the horizon that he wants to invest in this particular company is for the next 2 years. How does IG Petro look to you, Mr. Chokalingam, for the longer term?
It's a great company, no doubt about it. The Pitali United, there are only 2-3 major players in the country, but unfortunately, the input is derivative of crude oil. And the user industry is paint, which is also dependent on crude oil derivatives. So therefore, I would suggest him to start buying over next 2 months period instead of rushing to buy right now the IG Petro.
Mr. Chokalingam, coming back to you, this is a question coming from Sunil, and he's asking about Barmer Lorry and Bank of Maharashtra and the PSU banking pack at the current market price and at the current valuations. Do you think that they're good levels to add?
In fact, from our research desk, we have recommended both. I am a bit surprised on Bank of Maharashtra because if you look at the performance in terms of growth and quality of assets, for me, it looks like a mini HDFC bank. It's a phenomenal bank available at a steep discount, and also the bank has announced a dividend. So I would aggressively recommend a buy on Bank of Maharashtra. And Balmalari Company, Balmalari Investment, both we have given a buy call, and I personally hold Balmalari Investments, and if he is holding Balmalari Company, he can shift to Balmalari Investment, because while Balmalari Company gives around 5% dividend yield, Balmalari Investment gives 8% dividend yield. They already declared 30 rupees dividend, and this is a bad market, and this is a suitable time to consider the dividend yield. And also, it's a holding company of Balmalari Company. So tomorrow Balmalari Company improves, Balmalari Investment will also improve. So therefore, I recommend him to buy Balmalari Investment.
Okay, this one is from Manoj Krishna Prasad, and he's saying that he's holding 15 shares of Bajaj Finserv, purchased at 12,500 rupees per share. He wants to know what should he do with this holding, Kunal. Should he hold on to it or look to sell it out?
Hold on to it as of now. It's not that the stock would not get to a recovery phase. Yes, the stock did pretty well for itself yesterday. Even though today the price action is not as severely negative as compared to rest of the other NBFC stroke HFC names. So I believe there could be a possibility that Bajaj Finserv can come back to your cost price and beyond that as well, possibly over the next few months. So you should look to hold on.
Okay, we've got a question coming from Seshamma, who's writing in from Chengalpattu. And she's asking about ABSL AMC, recent listing relatively. Mr. Chokalingam, what's the view here? She's holding at levels of 700 for the past 6 months. And she's wondering whether to keep holding.
And hold it. Unfortunately, the investor has to wait for a longer period to recover, but it is not worth booking losses because AMC business is going to be a long-term growth story. There is no doubt at all. And certainly one day, all these AMCs would start recovering that recent erosion in their value. And this also comes from one of the most reputed groups. So therefore, she can continue to hold. But I would not suggest adding at current level. One can wait for at least another 1 quarter to add or to average it down the cost of the purchase of the stock.
Okay. This one is from Ramachandran V, and his name is actually Sri Ram. He's writing to us from Chennai, and he's actually, I believe we've taken this query. He wanted to know about Barmer Lorry Company, and he wanted a fundamental view, which I believe Mr. Chokalingam has already spoken about. Let me take this one from Prashant. Prashant is saying that he's holding Aurobindo Pharma at the price of 687 rupees per share. He wants to know what to do with the counter now, Kunal.
See, I would suggest to continue to hold on, not to average at current levels, even though the stock is consolidating. So, from the mid of the month of May is where the stock has gotten into a range for itself. Even at current levels, the stock is trading into this tight range, 500, 480 as a base, and I think closer to 540, 550 as a resistance. So it's trying to grapple into this trading range. It's very difficult to preempt that post the range which side the stock would break out, whether it would break out on the upside or whether it would break out with the same trend the stock is exhibiting over the last 5-6 months. So we'll wait out for this period of consolidation to get over for Aurobindo Pharma, and only if the stock sustains about this 550 mark on the upside, that could be an indication that the breakout is on the upside for Aurobindo Pharma. So I would suggest a wait and a hold as of now. Post 550 breakout is where I believe you can look to average further.
All right. That's the view on Aurobindo Pharma. Gentlemen, do stay with us. We have to slip into a very quick break. Viewers, we are going to continue taking your queries after this break, so do stay tuned.
Let me in advance congratulate you on your 13th anniversary that's falling due on 17th. You've been doing very well. Continue the good work and all the best to you.
Well, is that you already know everything. I just heard your introduction. And what can anybody add to that?
Stock markets is a numbers game, and it sometimes does come across as one-dimensional. But what people don't see is that these numbers, when strung together, tell a story. There's no really black or white. It very much seems to be a work in progress of triumphs and mistakes, greed and fear. And I bring you that story behind the numbers in action.
The personal finance show that helps you achieve all your financial dreams.
This show gets you everything that you need to know about your money, how to earn more, invest smartly, and spend while getting the best bang for your buck.
From the perfect home to early retirement and everything in between.
Real estate, everyone knows, is an asset that Indians absolutely love, maybe even more than gold.
Join us every weekday at 5 p.m. on the ET Money Show. Investment made easy. Only on ET Now.
With each passing day, this market is becoming better, and with each passing day, this market is only telling you that if you've participated on every decline, you've actually made money.
ITC's credo is nation first, sab saath bade. I would like to live this philosophy in whatever business we do.
We continue to be very well diversified across product lines. The general health of the company continues to be very strong.
We are a publicly listed company. We have access to capital. We have great brands.
No, beautiful question. Yeah, I can tell you, we believe that we'll be able to reduce costs.
ET is one of my favorites in the world. I'm a fan.
This is a very insightful question that you asked, Nikunj, and almost seems like you were listening in on the deliberation the committee was doing. And you're absolutely right.
And if this cup of coffee is costing you 25 rupees right now, after 5 years, it may cost you 100 rupees. Predicting the market or predicting the short-term move in the market, well, that's always very easy. Predicting it right and making money It's not impossible. It could be a challenge.
See, Nikunj, you are a very seasoned market observer, and therefore you may hit the nail on the head.
I think you have always kept the focus on the retail investor, and I think it's again a very apt, very good question.
Nikunj, first of all, thank you so much. You are one person I've always enjoyed interacting throughout last 15-20 years.
You know, the problem on coming on your channel is that you already know everything. I just heard your introduction. And what can anybody add to that?
Stock markets is a numbers game, and it sometimes does come across as one-dimensional. But what people don't see is that these numbers, when strung together, tell a story. There's no really black or white. It very much seems to be a work in progress of triumphs and mistakes, greed and fear. And I bring you that story behind the numbers.
Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now, Sell Now on ET Now, and let's get going with the queries. The next one that I have is from Rajagopalan, and he wants help in the long-term view on Sham Metallics. He's saying that he's planning to buy this counter for a period of about 3 years. What's your take on this one, Mr. Chokalingam? Sham Metallics got listed very recently, I think as recent as last year. What's your take on this one?
Rather prefer, the steel phase, either Tata Steel or JSW Steel. That would give more comfort. But still, I would ask him to wait for buying Shyam Steel now, or any other steel stock. One can wait for at least few weeks to know whether there is any further meltdown in the metal space and stock market across the world.
Sachin Yadav is writing in and asking about a couple of counters. I'm going to choose one of them. Vedanta. What's the view, Kunal, on the charts? He's asking for a short-term view and a target.
See, I believe many of these metal stocks, they would continue to trade lower. In fact, Vedanta, Hindalco, I believe, could probably see more selling spree over the next maybe few weeks, from current levels. So I think if you're looking at it as a buy trade, I would suggest an avoid. But if you're looking at it on the downside, then I think closer to 270, 265 could be a moderate target for a stock like Vedanta.
Simha Rao from Hyderabad, and he's saying that he has 300 shares of HSCL, which is purchased at a price of 61 rupees per share. He wants to know how will the next 2 quarters look for HSCL, considering that the government is going to go ahead with that 5G auction. What's your take on this one, Mr. Chokalingam? HSCL, you think it's a good, strong beneficiary of the 5G auctions? And how will the next 2 quarters look like for it? And what should Narasimha Rao do with his holding?
There is no doubt this will be the beneficiary, but according to me, it's already in the price. If you look at the P ratio earning, so therefore I would suggest him to sell it if the stock moves up even 5 to 10% from the current level.
Kunal, this one's for you. It's a question coming in from Vivek, and he's asking in the next rally. I do not know whether he's referring to a very long-term rally or the pop that you could see from these levels. What would the best stocks be? Which stocks have you identified that could be outperformers?
So I believe if and when the rally begins and starts off, then I believe the auto stocks and the banking names or the banking stocks are the two prominent themes which I think one should be looking to bet upon, because these are the two names which have done reasonably well in the last 2-3 months of the market volatility. And I think whenever the market tends to get into a reversal mode, these are the sectors which can stand to outperform. So you can bet on the large cap names, the ones which we keep discussing regularly, the likes of M&M, Maruti could be good bets from the auto pack. And I think if you're looking at it from a slightly high beta pocket, then I think even Ashok Leyland, is one thing which I've recommended, consistently over the last few days. That's also looking very attractive to me on the charts. from the banking names, I think if you're looking at, then I would probably look at maybe an ICICI Bank as a more stronger name that's holding up pretty well at this 680, 690 levels. And possibly if the bank sector starts to turn around, the more importantly, the FII selling abates, then I think the likes of HDFC Bank as well as Axis Bank, they can also get into some recovery phase.
Right. This one is coming from Aman, and he wants to know about IEX, Mr. Chokalingam, for the longer term. He's looking to invest in this particular counter. How has IEX looked to you? It did see the sharp rally, then a small dip in that particular counter, but over the longer term, you think the growth story is intact for IEX?
I may be wrong, but I have a strong view that the long-term story is not that robust for IEX because the PTC has already floated a joint venture with BSE to start power exchange. And as per the media sources, even NSE was proposing to get into power exchange. So the whole industry structure is changing from monopoly to monopolistic, which is not good for IEX in the medium to long term. And most importantly, I believe PTC gives anywhere around 25 to 30% of the business to IEX. And I have a fear, I may be wrong again, I have a fear that that business may be shifted to its own joint venture. So therefore, if there is any recovery comes, it is better to sell IEX than investing for the long term.
All right. This next question is coming your way, Kunal. This is coming from Shubh, and he's asking about Burger King, whether it can be bought at the current market price or should he wait before acquiring?
Don't track the stock. I think it's recently listed name, so avoid giving any comment.
Rupa, do you have a view on Rupa? He's bought at levels of 423. He's asking if he should exit.
Yeah, I think yes. That stock has confirmed a breakdown on many time frame charts. I think it has also fallen very sharply from 550 levels to current levels of I think 343, 43 on Rupa. So I think I would suggest to exit the stock at current levels as well.
I'm hungry and I need to eat lunch.
Yes, exactly. The moment you said Burger King, I was like, oh my God, I think I really want to eat now. But thank you, Kunal, for not talking about Burger King at length. I would have even felt more hungry. But let me take this next query, and this one is coming in from, I believe we have to kickstart with the rapid fire right now. So let's get going with the rapid fire then. And this one is coming from Arun Krishnan. He's saying that he's purchased 150 shares of IRCTC, around 850 rupees per share. He wants to know, makes sense to hold it for the longer term, Mr. Chokalingam?
He can hold on. Certainly, in medium to long term, it would recover to its cost price at least.
Anthony from Tirunelveli is asking about the Nifty Bank June futures. He's got two lots. I do not know what to strike. Oh, he's bought it at 35,430. What's the view, Kunal?
I would suggest to hedge this with either buying a 30,000 option.
Okay, this one is from Sumant, and he is asking whether it makes sense to accumulate Vedanta right now, given that the semiconductor market is now, the crisis is easing a bit. Do you think it's a good strategy, Mr. Chokalingam?
He can wait because unfortunately, as I mentioned earlier also, metal prices are cracking further. He can wait for Vedanta.
Okay. Manikandan from Kerala is asking about IOC at the current level for the long term. Kunal, what's the view?
I would suggest to avoid.
Okay, Mubarak wants a view on GMM Fodlo for the long term. Makes sense to invest at current levels, Mr. Chokalingam?
Yes, definitely. But as I mentioned, over next 2 months in phases.
Okay. Akash from Delhi is asking about Titagar Wagons, bought at levels of 108.6, 100 shares. Mr. Chokalingam, what's the view on the fundamentals?
If he gets back his principal, he can sell it up because I don't see any consistency in the performance over the longer period.
Okay, Magesh wants to know whether it makes sense to re-enter Infosys currently. He had already previously bought it at levels of 1,700 rupees per share, about 100 shares. Now he's trying to average. Does it make sense, Kunal?
Well, yes, I think at 1,400 levels, it's a good price to back.
Okay. Prasad from Kakinada, okay, he hasn't put his question in yet. We've got a question coming in from Arijit, and he's asking about a couple of stocks, Adani Power and Tata Steel losing ground. What should he do, Kunal? Should he average at this price?
I would refrain from averaging at current levels. Would wait out for at least another month or so for the price. It's like be a good time to not at all.
All right, I think we've lost Kunal's feed also on that note, and with that we come to the end of the rapid fire as well. Thank you so much, Kunal, as well as Mr. Chokalingam, for joining us on the show, talking about the aviation space as well as taking viewer queries. And viewers, it's time for a break on this edition of Buy Now, Sell Now. We'll be back tomorrow with the queries, so you can write in to us tomorrow at 11 a.m. But for now, we're slipping into a break, but stay tuned, more on the other side, don't go anywhere.
So let me take this opportunity to thank you. So my anniversary wish for you at ET Now is that you grow your viewership also at 20%.
In action.
The personal finance show that helps you achieve all your financial dreams.
This show gets you everything that you need to know about your money, how to earn more, invest smartly, and spend while getting the best bang for your buck.
From the perfect home to early retirement and everything in between.
Real estate, everyone knows, is an asset that Indians absolutely love, maybe even more than gold.
Join us every weekday at 5 p.m. on the ET Money Show. Investment made easy. Only on ET Now.
With each passing day, this market is becoming better. And with each passing day, this market is only telling you that if you've participated on every decline, you've actually made money.
ITC's credo is nation first, sab saath bade. I would like to live this philosophy in whatever business we do.
We continue to be very well diversified across product lines. The general health of the company continues to be very strong.
We are a publicly listed company. We have access to capital. We have great brands.
No, beautiful question. Yeah, I can tell you, we believe that we'll be able to reduce costs.
ET is one of my favorites in the world. I'm a fan.
This is a very insightful question that you're asking, Nikunj, and almost seems like you were listening in on the deliberation the committee was doing. And you're absolutely right.
But if this cup of coffee is costing you 25 rupees right now, after 5 years, it may cost you 100 rupees. Predicting the market or predicting the short-term move in the market, well, that's always very easy. Predicting it right and making money, it's not impossible. It could be a challenge.